What a thrill to have Leticia Gomez again on our show, to come back, given all her very, very busy schedule. How busy is she? Well, let me read you just a little bit of her background because it's pages and pages of the pages. Leticia, thank you for being here. I'm going to try to condense your background in this next to impossible. You're president of an entertainment division, uh, Ascendant Group. You're author, literary, film, television agent, and acquisition editor. Oh my God, that's a handful. You're currently a producer of feature film, Bridges, and you're the administrator and primary person up front on a Hispanic book imprint, Café Con Leche Books. And yeah, I saw the list on cafeconleche.com. And I ask you the same question I asked you the last time. When do you sleep? How do you do all this? But anyway.
Well, good morning, Armando. Thank you for inviting me to be on the show again. It's my pleasure. I definitely make time to sleep. Sleeping is my favorite pastime, because it's the only time that nobody wants anything from me. so I cherish my sleep very much, and if I don't get sleep regularly, I turn into the Wicked Witch of the West. So
that's cute. You have been in the background of making sure that authors get published. You've also promoted people to, be highlighted, and you're still working on film, also television. But, lately, at this time now, you're coming into the Café Con Leche books series. And from that perspective, I'd like to ask you, as part of a role model series, is more than half of the world are women. Do we have enough stories about women to women?
We have enough stories about women to last an eternity, to last a lifetime. Because women, they go through different facets of their life where they fulfill different roles. And so not only, I feel that women have just more than one story to tell. A woman can have several mini stories to tell. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there is an abundance of stories. The problem is that women are so busy and they're trying to do it all that they don't have the time to sit down and really write. I think that's one of the obstacles that women face is finding quiet, alone time to reflect, just to articulate how they express how they feel, find out how they, dig within themselves to find out how they feel about things, and then get them out in the open by writing about them. So
the whole process of writing a book, and obviously given your background, somebody says, why should I write a book? I mean, why would anybody want to hear my story?
Because it's, like I said, every story is as unique as the individual writing it. And I think that you can tell your story verbally, Armando, but it's not going to be preserved forever. Someone's going to, hear it, maybe pass it along, but eventually the story's going to die. There's nothing like the written word, because it really is what preserves the story. It immortalizes, in a sense, the person who wrote the story. Think about the Bible, for example. Those writers are long gone, but they're still alive in the stories, and so we have also examples of books that have survived through the ages, through the centuries. And while those people are no longer here on earth with us, they're still alive in a sense through the written word.
So each one of us is seeing the world through our own eyes, and we're all different. So 7.5 billion people are seeing the world from a different perspective. So what you're sharing is something to make your view a part of history.
Right, exactly. And it's the best way to leave a legacy behind, because life is too short. We're only here for a blink of an eye. Mm-hmm. But if you write something down, and if it can even touch one person in the future when you're not here, then you left a legacy behind.
What are some of the stories that stand out in your mind from, thousands and thousands of books and articles you've seen and you've written in your own style. What have been two or three that really stand out in your mind?
Well, I mean, I do a lot of memoirs, and so I kind of specialize in that. So I like family sagas a lot. I tend to remember those. As a little girl, I used to love the John Jakes series of books, and they were later on turned on into miniseries. So and I don't. It doesn't really matter to me if it's written by a man or a woman, you know, as long as the story is told in a very compelling way. So I read a lot of mostly I read things that have not been published yet. Okay. I just don't get to read a lot of the great books that have already been published because that's my job. My job is to read the unpublished so that I can get it from that point, from being unpublished to point B to being published. And so every day I get a lot of very interesting, story queries and stories. I do like fiction, but I really prefer, my personal taste is nonfiction, is the memoir, the narrative nonfiction genre.
Now you started and you've been launched in the middle of your heavy schedule. And ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Leticia Gomez here. You started the Café Con Leche books. What prompted you to do that?
Well, it's sometimes I despite my efforts, I'm not able to find a really good traditional publishing deal for all of my clients. And so, but the thing is that's, I give it really my best shot, and I really don't give up easily. But once it's chances are the client is going to get tired more than I am, because it is a weary process to publication. It's a long road. Sometimes clients just want to get their work out. And so instead of just leaving them alone, without a shepherd to delve into the self-publishing, realm themselves, I decided, well, why can't I, start a little imprint and publish the books that the stories that I really, really love, and just kind of partner up with the author. And that's what I did. So I started very slowly. And then what also prompted me is that I have the ability to publish both in English and Spanish.
Yes.
And especially the Spanish is what's lacking in this country. So, I decided, well, I'll do it, but I'll do it on a small scale because at least one published book is better than none.
Oh, what a wonderful statement. I remember somebody saying once that they wrote a book in Spanish and they said, well, I don't know where it went. And then they went to a book fair in España and they found out that their book was a huge success over there. They knew more about the book over there than they did here in their own backyard. Yes. And they were shocked, but they were saying, the market for Spanish is not just United States, right. It's worldwide.
Right. And I decided to name the imprint Café Con Leche because I thought it's a phrase that resonates in the Latin world. Everybody loves their Café Con Leche.
So, yay for Café Con Leche.
So Café Con Leche books. And so I like to just show you a few of the books that I've published.
Please. I'm excited.
This one is by Graciela Limón.
Uh-huh.
She's an award-winning Chicana Latina author who's been published traditionally many, many times. And she wrote this book in English, The Intriguing Life of Jimena Godoy. And she just had grown tired of the same publisher that she published because this publisher would not do an ebook. It was just a print book. So she wrote a new novel and she asked me if I would publish it for her, and I did. So this is her novel. And then I did one. This one's in Spanish. It's El Diario de una Ex-Gordita by Silu Sheffer. Now this story is very inspirational. She grew up a poor girl in the slums of Brazil. She felt she was not only poor but very unattractive, and she totally transformed herself. She lost the weight. She exercised. She did everything that you need to do for transformation, and then she went on to become a winner in a lot of the Brazilian Miss Brazil pageants.
Wow.
Right. And so her book is in Spanish. And so that is, Now, this book, interestingly, is going to receive a few awards next week at the International Latino Book Awards that's going to be held in Los Angeles. These awards are every year. So this book is a finalist in 2 categories, and that's the best health book in Spanish and the best Latina themed book.
Wow. I can see the whole context of the theme. It's really wonderful.
Right. And so, yeah, so I can honestly say that Café con Leche Books is an award-winning publisher now.
I also know Dr. Thelma Reina here in Los Angeles, Pasadena. She also is trying to do the same work. And the same thing, it's just hitting the frustration of helping authors get their books out there. So it's a very...
And this one is another example. This one just came out a few months ago. It's La Otra Vida de Daniel. It's written by a Latina psychiatrist who lost her son to suicide. And she wrote the book as part of her grieving process, and it's in Spanish. So I highly recommend this book for people who have lost someone they love through suicide, or it doesn't even have to be suicide, but just to help along with the grieving process. So I'm getting to work with some very interesting authors.
You are. Let me move you over back to inspiring young women, very young women. I'm going to take it back to, maybe 12-year-olds or older. Let me start from there. 12-year-olds, they're sitting somewhere and they just find themselves writing and writing and writing and writing and just, shelving everything. And then other people who are older look back and they says, oh my God, I have all those, things I've written over the years. How do you convince them that they should put it together into a book?
Well, yeah, I think it's kind of easy these days because they're so used to texting and to communicating, with the keyboard, so really it's fast and easy to write now more than it was in the older days. Because come on, some of the and posts on Instagram that these kids write, it's every day is a novel. Every day. It really is. If they can write a 3-page post on Instagram, or Facebook or what have you, Twitter, they're doing it day by day. They don't realize it. Poquito a poquito, little by little, they're writing and they're writing and they're writing. And really, at the rate that they spend texting and writing, they can have a full-blown book in a matter of a few months. It's just the problem is, do they have the desire? Not everybody has a desire to be a writer. Everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has the desire and the self-discipline to be a writer. So, you can encourage out of 10 girls that you encourage, maybe 2 out of the bunch are really writer material.
The inspiration to write the book is sort of the next level. Yeah, you can collect paper, but
yeah.
You can collect paper. Now, I do want to take, first of all, I want to take a moment. Where can our viewers find more information about you and your work, what you're doing, and keep up with, your upcoming publications and your work?
Okay. Well, right now my website is www.savvyliterary, together as one word, SAVVYLITERARY.com. That's my website. Pretty soon, I'm going to go ahead and revamp the website. I do feel it's a little bit outdated. So I'm in the process of working with a person who's helping me to rebrand myself and redo the website, and so, but there is very good information on there now. So I invite everyone to go in there and look at it. Also, anyone's welcome to email me at any time. I have 2 main email addresses, and they both start with Savvy Literary as one word, and then either at yahoo.com or gmail.com.
Okay, wonderful. And also cafeconleche.com.
Right.
That's also,
Right. Also, there's a really good interview about me in the Jeff Herman, in the most published version of the Jeff Herman Guide to publishers, literary agents, and editors. He's featured me, I think, in the last 3 of his volumes, because he publishes it almost every year, republishes.
I'm going to sort of push the envelope a little bit. What do you see yourself doing for the next year or two?
Oh, okay. Well, that's easy. 'Cause I already know. Well, I do want to grow my imprint. I do want to grow my imprint. I want to publish more books per year. That's one thing. I also want to do more film and television. As you mentioned, for the past 5 years, I've been working on a film project that I think will resonate with a lot of people. Bridges. It's the story of a young Latina whose mother immigrated to this country and had her as an illegal alien here in the States. And she grew up in poverty, and she there was so many challenges in her life, and she was able to overcome all of that to go on and earn a full ride scholarship to Penn State University, where she played for the Penn State Lady Lions. So she used her skills in basketball to get her ahead in life. And so when she got to the university, she not only excelled as an athlete, but she started the institution's first anti-bullying program, because she had been bullied horrifically during her teen years. And so it's a really good story, because it integrates immigration with sports, with bullying. You know, it's a good family movie. A lot like We Are Marshall, or also the one that Kevin Costner did about the running. Can't think.
The
McFarlane.
kids, McFarlane, the kids up here north, right?
Right.
When will we possibly see that out in the cinemas?
You know what? We're just about to get it funded fully.
Uh-huh.
So we're not sure it's going to make it as a theatrical release, but it for sure would go into streaming. It's just these days it's very hard to pull off a theatrical release. You know, so getting more involved in the film and television industry. I also just recently placed a property with actor John Leguizamo that he's going to be, and all of these are Latino themed stories.
Yes.
Okay. And so get more, be more involved in the film and television industry. And then I'd also like to do more speaking engagements. Maybe go to visit a lot of the universities throughout the country, their creative writing programs, to do as we talked about, to inspire young people to write.
Excellent. Again, what is the contact information for our viewers?
Okay, my email address, it's savvyliterary, together as one word, SAVVYLITERARY @yahoo.com or gmail.com. They have their choice of which one they want to use.
You know, I do want to share, once again, reiterate something that I learned from you, from speaking with you in the past, is that, first of all, you do come from very humble beginnings, and you have always shared the idea of empowerment of women and bringing hope. And that's why the message always comes through to me about you. So I applaud you and what you're doing, and you inspire others to also do the same thing, whether it be literary or film or other areas. So I want to commend you on that, and I wanted to make sure you knew that about you.
Well,
Okay?
thanks, Armando. And on and the feeling is mutual. I highly respect you and your work, and I mean, because you've been doing this a lot. If it wasn't people like you, people like me wouldn't, couldn't express themselves and couldn't spread their message around. So it takes two to tango, Armando.
Two to tango. The other thing is, please, you're always invited to be back on the show, and feel free every so often to come in and tell us what books we should be looking at, like you did right now. You showed me 3 or 4. Let's do this on a regular basis, even if we just do that. So here, background, let's promote these books.
Sure. That would be, my authors would really appreciate that.
No, I understand. And I for all the work they did, let's do that. Let's not make it a possibility. We'll definitely make that into future shows.
All right. Sounds great, Armando.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Armando F. Sanchez, Armando F. Sanchez Production. Again, if you have any questions, you can contact her directly. Please do. Or you can write to me at afsanchez66@gmail.com, and I'll forward any information to her as well. But again, Leticia, I wish you continuous success in your literary world, in your world in television and production, and also in your personal life. But thank you for being a role model.
No, thank you, Armando. Have a wonderful day.
Same here. Adios.
Bye.
We have, it's a go?
Do you think this could need a lot of editing?
No. What I'm going to try to do in editing is I'm going to try to get the images of, here, let me try this again. Just